Carl Flesch himself is one of the biggest names in violin pedagogy, and he dedicated his life to violin teaching. So what he did actually is a bit specific than the other books or schools. He did a detailed instruction more to the teachers how to teach than to the young violinists. This is a very key moment for a young violinist actually in the teaching, because if from the early ages you learn the real technique on violin, the one which will help you to play violin, then everything else is very easy. The second most important audience or the category of people to use, the teachers who are teaching these young people, the teachers who are teaching these music school students, because the teacher has to give the instruction how to do. My inspiration would be to help my country, to develop the field where am I, the art of violin teaching, violin playing, to make it better. Actually, we have quite a big school and legendary people, violinists, teachers. So I try to do my thing. But the second more egoistic goal and interest of me is actually the violin playing and the methodology, and to learn more about my job. So it's very interesting also. It's not just the translation that I'm doing, I'm learning also deeply. Because once you read, it's not the same thing. And try to translate, you try to understand, to get in the mind of the person who wrote, then you understand much more deeply actually the meaning of exercises of the methodology. I'm not agreeing to everything he writes, because there are many schools and many different ways of playing violin. So I have mine also, but it's very, very interesting. He's a legendary person, Carl Flesch, and it's a very interesting book. I didn't know that it will be so big pleasure to do this work. The first challenge is the terminology, which means in music we have lots of Italian words. Depends which era of music. Then we have French and German words. And in violin playing, actually, then depends when and where the violin got developed and which new type of techniques were made. The names or the terms are in the same language. Carl Flesch comes from German tradition, so lots of things are German. It's very difficult to translate to any language because German is a very specific language and very beautiful. So you'll see the book in German, and compared to the English, it's like a beautiful piece of art in German. The words, the choice of words, it's so beautiful. The challenge was terminology, because Armenia, the classic music started in Armenia from maybe 100 years. Now the Philharmonic Orchestra has the 100 years anniversary in about 100 years, maybe 120. So we didn't participate of developing classical music. So the violin is not an Armenian instrument; it's a European instrument. So we like the terminology, and to find the right one is to read lots of old books, and then think about it, because nobody uses these words. And I experiment now when I teach in Armenian. I use these words. Everybody laughs, like, "What is this?" They never hear it. The second challenge, which is not more difficult, even difficult challenge, to understand what the author means technically and to try to express the same way. Because if you choose like let's say pressure on the strings, yeah, you can use the word pressure, you can use the word weight, you can use lots of words, in Armenian also different. It changes the way the child would think. If you say pressure, they will start to press and use lots of muscle. You say weight, they will hang. Depends if sometimes you need pressure, sometimes you need to hang. It depends which author meant. You have to get in the head and translate the way also that the Armenian child will understand, or the teacher would understand it the same way he said. I would like this book to be in a shelf of every teacher, every violin teacher in Armenia. To be a very good teacher, violin teacher, you don't need so much theory actually, but it helps a lot. There are some teachers who come to this knowledge by experience. Experience takes time. My dream would be that every teacher would have a book, would read the book, and would be interested